So it's nearly time. Welcome, Vodafone, if you've just joined us. Find yourself a comfortable seated posture. Sit with your spine long. You can sit cross-legged if that's comfortable. You can sit with your legs out straight if that's comfortable. You can kneel if that's comfortable. If you struggle with hips rotating that way, you might find that your hips rotate inwards quite well. You might find that you can sit comfortably like this, only if it's comfortable. I find that I can only sit comfortably for a length of time like this if I have a little bit of a lift under my pelvis, because otherwise my feet go to sleep. So listen to your body, find what's right for you, find a comfortable position. Really important to be comfortable. If it hurts, it ain't yoga. Make that conversation between your mind and body a respectful one. Listen to your body. If your body says no, accept that. Try not to overrule it with your ego. Try not to allow your ego, your mind, to bully your body. Your body, with a little bit of tender care, will serve you well. So respect it and listen to it when it says no. Okay, let's begin. Close your eyes. Sit up tall, roll your shoulders back and down, bring your mental focus inwards. You can focus on your Anja chakra, your brow chakra, that's your third eye, between you and above your eyebrows. Or if you don't like having your eyes closed, you can focus your eye gaze on the tip of the nose. Try and bring your focus inwards. And now we're going to bring the focus to the breath. So start to observe your breath. What's it doing? Hopefully it's coming in and out. If your breath is shallow, that's an indicator that you're a little bit stressed. That's indicative of your fight and flight mechanism being slightly dominant in your body. But we can overrule this using our breath. Our breath is the bridge between mind and body. It provides that connection. And in scientific terms, the breath is the only bit of our autonomic nervous system over which we can exert control. So we can actually change the function of the body using the breath. I invite you to place one hand on your chest and another hand on your belly, observing the breath. Next time you inhale, see if your belly comes out to meet your hand. And then as you exhale, it should draw back in again. So if that's not quite happening yet, see if you can deepen and lengthen the breath so that it does. I can't see your belly. Hopefully you can't see mine. So don't feel that you have to draw it in. Don't feel that you have to suck it in at this point in the class. Allow your belly to dome. As the air fills your rib cage, the diaphragm drops down. Your abdominal contents have to move out of the way. And if they don't, you don't get a full, deep breath. So allow that to happen. Lengthening and deepening the breath activates your body's parasympathetic nervous system, allows your body to carry out repairs, allows your background functions of digestion and cleansing and infection fighting, allows those functions to be carried out. So breathe deeply to give your body the best chance you can. And by attaching your restless mind to your breath in this way, by focusing on your inhalation and your exhalation, you connect the mind to the body and you allow yourself to be truly present in the moment. Try and focus only on your breath to create space in the mind. Take 2 more really deep, long breaths. Inhaling fully and exhaling the sludge of toxic memory. Get rid of what no longer serves you. We don't want stale air in our lives any more than we want stale, used up anything else. Exhale, release the hands gently and flutter your eye glaze open. We're going to move to an all fours position. So set yourself up on your mat. Have your hands underneath your shoulders, have your knees underneath your hips, have everything about hip distance apart so that your hand to your knee to your foot is in a parallel, you're in 2 parallel lines. Your back here should be more or less flat, but the curvature of the spine varies from person to person. As we exhale here, we're going to round the back, the eye gaze drops down towards the thighs or towards the knees. As we inhale, we draw the chest forward, the shoulders back and down, the eye gaze lifts, the nose lifts, the chin lifts. Keep going with this movement, exhaling as you round the back and inhaling as you draw the chest forward. This is called cat-cow pose. As we exhale, we round the back like an angry cat. And as we inhale, we extend the spine forward and allow the belly to drop down like a cow, like a beast of burden with that slack spine. Do 2 more. Rounding on your exhalation as you flex the spine, inhaling as you open the front body. You extend the spine. 1 more here. Making the movement slightly bigger as your spine warms up. If it still feels that it's not very flexible, you feel a bit twingy, to make the movement smaller. Next time you exhale, drop your bottom back to your heels, stretch the arms out in front of you, draw your crown down towards the mat. This is child's pose, Balasana. Those of you who were here yesterday, it's a resting pose. Come into it at any point in class. You can keep having your hands outstretched, or you can tuck them around so that your fingertips come towards your feet or to your heels, and draw your chin in towards your chest. If you find this uncomfortable because you're quite big here, there's quite a lot going on here, then you can draw the thighs out, draw the knees further out, and that creates more space for all this to come down towards the mat. Breathe deeply here. Inhale, come back to your all fours position, adjust the knees and feet so you're back in this box position. Exhale, press down through the outside of the hands, tuck the toes, and see if you can hover the knees slightly away from the mat. Higher is easier. If you have them just kissing the mat, that's a little bit tougher. You should feel your lower abdominals immediately start to wake up. Drop the knees, untuck the toes, sit back in child's pose. We're going to do that again. I invite you to come forward, tuck your toes, and hold the position, if you can, for 5 breaths. At any point, if it's too much on your wrists, on your shoulders, or if your abs just can't take it, untuck the toes, sit back in child's pose, and take a break. Come back into it when you're ready. Those of you who are still up here, keep going. Hold it for another couple of breaths if you can. And then on an exhalation, press your chest towards your thighs, press your hips towards the ceiling, and press your heels towards the floor. We're coming into downward facing dog pose. So you're forming a triangle. Backs of your legs are one side. From your fingertips to your tailbone is another side, and the floor is the third side. And the 2 sides of your triangle that are you're going to try and draw them together. So draw your chest towards your thighs if you can. Now lift one heel, bend that knee so that thigh comes in towards your chest, and then
Bend the other knee and take the opposite heel to the mat. So we're pedaling through the feet, alternating, bringing the thigh to the chest on one side as the heel comes down on the other. Do that a couple more times. Feel that lovely stretch to your hamstrings. And then we're going to try and do both of those things. So bring the chest towards the thighs, push your bottom back and up, and now see if the heels come down towards the mat. They may be miles away from the mat. Don't worry about that. It's work in progress. Do what you can. Feel that lovely stretch in the spine. Feel that opening in the pelvis and the stretch in the hamstrings, if that's happening for you. One more breath here. Inhale, soften the knees and start to walk the feet towards your hands, keeping the knees bent. Your hands may stay easily on the floor, or you may be more comfortable folding your arms and hanging your head in ragdoll. Or you can use blocks here if you've got them. Inhale, soften the knees, bend deeply and start to straighten the spine, come up to standing. Float the arms up, stretch up the sides of the body and bring your palms together above your head. Press the palms together and draw the hands down to your heart center. Let's do that again. We inhale, we take the arms all the way up, we press the palms down together, and this time we open the arms and we dive down into that forward fold, taking it slowly, engaging the abdominal muscles. Bring your hands to the floor. You may need to bend your knees quite deeply to achieve this, and then take one foot back, take your right foot back into a long lunge. So we did this yesterday. Try and keep your fingertips light. Try and bring this back hip round so that your pelvic heads are level. Draw your shoulders back and down, fingertips light to the floor or to blocks, or you can drop this back knee if it's too much. From here, we're going to come into a revolved lunge. So whether your knee is down or up, bring your right hand to the mat and open your left fingertips up to the ceiling, opening your chest. Your eye gaze can come up to your left thumb or it can stay down towards the floor, depending on whether you're finding it a strain for your neck. Don't do anything that doesn't feel comfortable. Inhale, float that hand back down. If you drop the back knee, raise it up now. Power through that back heel. And now we're going to turn that back foot out, bring the blade of the foot to the floor and lift up the torso. So we come into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So now you want to open your hips so they face the long side of your mat, but you want your knee to keep tracking forwards towards the short end of your mat. So this is quite a tricky pose. You want to keep your shoulders over your hips. You want to keep your foot down if you can, and that is parallel to the back of your mat. Your hips will either want to close towards your knee, or if you open your hips, your knee will want to roll forward. So for you, you want to get the maximum stretch here to here, and that will look different person to person. So do what you can, open the chest, open the hips, sink down. You're aiming to get this thigh parallel to the floor, but hey, Rome wasn't built in a day. Go to wherever you're comfortable. Take your arms up and out to the sides. Stretch your fingertips away. Draw your shoulder blades together at the back of the body and stare down your left fingers. You're a warrior. Virabhadra was a warrior created by Shiva out of his matted hair. Inhale, flip your front palm, take it up to the ceiling and tip the side of your body, opening up the left side of your body, tipping towards the right without lifting out of this hip or straightening this leg if possible. So keep bending deeply into this leg. And then draw this hand down and take the back arm up and over into extended side angle. So you want to be strong in the legs here and soft in the upper body. If you're quite flexible, you might be able to float your fingertips down to the floor or down to a block. Otherwise, rest your arm here. Come out of this if you've had enough. Otherwise, we're going to move with the breath, inhaling from one position to the other, exhaling as we come into Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle pose, and inhaling into reverse warrior. This is quite tough on the legs. Engage the core, tuck your tailbone under. Keep trying to open that hip to the best of your ability. We'll just do one more of these. Next time you come forward, lift your back heel, bring your hand to the floor, come back into that lunge. And from your lunge, you're going to take your front foot back into plank. So if you're tired here, come to your knees, sit back on your heels, take a rest. Otherwise, stay in plank. Hold your plank for 3 more breaths. And now drop to your knees and come back into child's pose. You can stay in child's pose or you can take a vinyasa. I'll talk you through it. Some of you know what you're doing. We come forward onto the knees. We untuck the toes. We bring the chest and chin down to the floor, keeping the hips high. We inhale. We scoop the chest forward. We roll the shoulders back and down. Now we tuck the toes and we come into down face dog. Those of you who are resting in child's pose, come and join us in down face dog. So now we're all going to come to down face dog. Pedal through the feet, just like we did. Stretching out. This is a lovely release now for your hips after those warriors. Inhale, bend the knees, walk the feet forward. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, take the arms up and over. Press the palms together. Exhale to your heart center. We're going to do all that on the other side, and then we're coming to the floor. I'm going to change position so that you can see me. You can stay where you are or not. Suit yourself. I can't see you anyway. Inhale, up and over. Press your palms together. Exhale, come into a deep forward fold. Bend the knees deeply. Inhale, take your left foot into a long lunge. Press your left palm into the mat. Stretch your right fingers up to the ceiling. Open your chest. Draw your shoulder blades together at the back of the body. Energy through that back leg. Inhale, float the arm down. Lift the chest. Exhale, bring the back foot down. Take the arms up and over, and we're coming into warrior 2 again on the other side. So again, your back foot wants to be parallel to the back of your mat. Your heel may line up with your heel or may line up with your arch. Depends on how you're built. Tuck your tailbone under. Open this thigh. Keep working to send that knee out and forward, and this hip open to the side. Arms, if you can, stretch out to the sides, and your eye gaze goes down your front finger. Inhale and exhale, come a little bit lower if you can. So now we're going into that move. Front palm comes up. We inhale, we open up the side of the body. Lovely stretch in the intercostals on the right-hand side here. And then we exhale, elbow drops lightly to the front thigh. Back arm comes up and over. Option to come deeper if you want to. Inhale, up. Exhale. So use your breath. Your pace may be different from mine. You might be faster or slower. Listen to your body. I can't tell you how your breath is today. Only you know the secrets of your body. We inhale, we come up. We exhale. Stay here and have a stretch or do one more. The choice is yours. Next time you exhale, take the arms overhead, frame your front foot, lift your back foot. Now we come into plank. Stay in plank, come into child's pose, or take a vinyasa. You drop to the knees if you're doing that. You untuck the toes, chest and chin, Ashtangasana, 8-point pose. Inhale into Cobra, Bhujangasana. Lift your chest, wrap your shoulders back and down. Come a little higher. Now you're feeling warm if you want to. Exhale, tuck the toes. Wherever you are, whether you're in child's pose or with me, we're coming into downward facing dog. Lift the hips high, press down through the heels, relax the head and neck, light in the wrists, press through the fingertips, and press down in the heels. Inhale, come forward into all fours. Exhale, we're all coming into child's pose. Take a couple of deep breaths here. Inhale, come up onto all fours, cross your feet at the ankles, roll over your feet if you can, and come to a seated position. Or come to a seated position any way you can. Sit high up onto your seated bones with your feet flat on the floor and draw your chest in towards your thighs so you're as upright as you possibly can be, trying to avoid rounding in the spine here. So you can take your fingers behind you with your fingers facing forward, wrap your shoulders back and down and stick your chest out for a stretch. Or you can take your hands to the back of your thighs, bring your feet slightly closer in and start to lift the heels so you come up onto your tiptoes. Now the tendency here, apart from cramp, is to roll back. You want to keep drawing your chest towards your thighs just like we did in down face dog. Coming onto your tiptoes if you can, lifting your heels. So now we're starting to balance on a tripod of our seated bones and our tailbone, keeping the chest open and the back long. If you want to advance the move, you can float one leg up so the shin is parallel to the mat. Possibly you can float the other one up. Point the toes if you haven't got cramp. If you've got cramp, point and flex to release it. Inhale, lengthen if you can. Lots of options here. This is Ardha Navasana, half boat pose. If you want to come into the full pose, and I suggest that you might want to do this if you've done quite a bit of yoga before. It's quite tricky, but if you want to do it, stretch your feet away, straighten the legs, and maybe you can float the arms out to the sides as well. I've got a little bit of a tremble going on there because it's quite hard. Keep breathing. Come into the half boat. Cross your feet and have a stretch out in front. Stay here if you've had enough, otherwise we're going for another round. Knees to chest, spine long, up onto your tiptoes, up to half boat, or straighten the legs away into full boat. Hands can be on the thighs, they can be on the floor if you're not sure of your balance, or you can float them out to the side, with or without the leg extension. The choice is yours. Stay there for a couple more breaths, or when you've had enough, this time cross the other foot in front, if you can remember which one you did last time, and come into a stretch. Either here, or walk the hands forward, come onto your forearms. Try and keep the buttocks pressed into the floor. So if you're still in boat pose, come out of it now, take a stretch, and then we'll come back up to the seated position. Press your feet into the floor, take your bottom a little bit nearer to the end of your mat so you've got plenty of space behind you. So we did yesterday. Tuck the tailbone under, draw your pubic bone up, draw your belly button to your spine, and we're going to move to the floor as slowly as we can. So for some of you, this may not be possible. Use your hands, use your elbows, use whatever support you need. Hands to thighs is also quite a good way of giving you some extra support. Or float the hands up, keep drawing your pubic bone up, keep sending your tailbone away, keep drawing the belly button to the spine, and slowly see if you can connect your vertebrae to the floor one at a time. We've stretched out the spine, we've done lots of work on the spine and a bit on the abs. So you might find it easier than you found it yesterday. You might not, your muscles might be tired from yesterday. Just observe it without judgment. Then when you get to the floor, hug your knees into your chest, roll them gently from side to side, Apanasana. From here, inhale, open your arms to the side, backs of the hands come to the floor, draw your feet down to the mat, so we're in semi-supine. Exhale. Inhale again, and as you exhale, you're going to drop your knees over to the right-hand side, and your head turns to look at your left hand. You can close your eyes at this point if you want to. This is Jathara Parivartanasana, revolved abdomen pose. So we're twisting through the torso here. Should be a nice release for the abdominal muscles, and also a nice gentle stretch for the spine. Soften your eye gaze if your eyes are still open. Check that even though your abdomen is powerfully revolved, you're still breathing using your abdominal muscles. Or if you stop that, re-engage with it. On an inhalation, draw your belly button to your spine. Gently bring the knees back to the center. Bring your head back to the center and exhale in the center. Feel your spine soften against the mat. Inhale again. And when you next exhale, the knees are going to come to the left and your eye gaze floats to your right hand. Keep both shoulders on the ground. Feel that stretch in the upper hip. Stretch between your right knee and your right shoulder. Turn your eye gaze to your right hand or close your eyes. Deep breath here. Take your time. Inhale, draw your belly button to your spine. Gently ease your knees back to center. Bring your head back to the center, and one at a time, hug those knees into the chest, rolling gently from side to side. Take a little circle with your knees, drawing a circle with your hips on the mat, in one direction and then the other. Draw your feet down to the mat. We're back in semi-supine. Take your feet to the outsides of your mat and drop your knees in. You can stay here, or if you'd like to come into full Shavasana, send one leg away and then the other, just like we did yesterday. Allow the feet to flop open to the sides, hips flop open. Hands come down the sides of your body, palms face the ceiling. Relax the shoulder blades into the floor. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Let go. Connect with your breath. Observe your body. Observe the areas of your body that have been working hard, the areas of space that have opened up. Observe your breath. See if you can make your breath even longer, even slower. Remembering that lengthening the breath slows the heart rate, calms the mind. Deep, soft, long breath. If your mind's starting to wander, just gently scoop it up without judgment. Reattach it to the breath. Just as a bird in a cage cannot flit about the room, so the mind can be encaged by the discipline of pranayama, breath control, and brought back to reside in the body, in stillness. If you're able to stay in this position for a little longer,
please do so. If you need to come out of the position, then gently draw one knee and then the other up towards your chest. When you're ready, roll over onto your right side, making a pillow with your right arm. Take another deep breath here, and when you exhale, press into your left hand to lift yourself up to a seated position. If you're staying in Shavasana, try and ignore my voice and focus on your own breath. If you're seated, lengthen your crown from your tailbone. Press your palms together at your heart center, your thumbs gently touching your sternum. Flutter your eyelids open. Let's breathe together. Take your arms out to the sides. Inhale. Spin your palms to the ceiling. Draw them together above your crown, and then draw them back to your heart center. Thank you for practicing today. I hope you have a wonderful day and a joyous week. And I do hope you'll be able to join me tomorrow for the rest of the week. Namaste.